So I guess we'll just get right to it. This SMU offense is obviously a loaded bunch here. So just kind of looking what do you see out of them, and how do they compare to kind of another air raid team in Mississippi State?
Yeah, they're an excellent football team with a lot of explosive players. Two excellent running backs, also really 31s of power, and they use 22 too. So they use multiple running backs, but and then the receivers, 5, Danny Gray, Reggie Roberson, Rashee Rice. They can fly. And then, Grant, number 88, the tight end, big target, does a really good job. And then, of course, the quarterback, Tanner Mordecai, he understands his offense. He came from Oklahoma, where, of course, Lincoln Riley's the head coach. Garrett Riley is the offensive coordinator, his little brother at SMU. And then Sonny has a lot of, he cut his teeth under Leach, Sonny did. And so there's a mixture of the two offenses, and they do a heck of a job. They're the most explosive offense we've played all year by far.
And just kind of with the challenges that faces, obviously Mississippi State presented some challenges with their receivers, but with this core, obviously you guys saw Roberson last year before he got hurt. Just what challenges does it present with their speed and just the ability of multiple guys to be able to make plays?
Well, you have to be able to stop the run, against these guys. If you're just dropping in pass coverage the whole entire game, they'll crush you with the running game. So that enables their speedy wide receivers to, have some opportunities for some one-on-one situations with shots. So we've got to be able to make those plays when they take them. And nobody's really been able to stop them all year long at all. So they are a heck of a football team.
And then also I noticed too, I think SMU's only allowed 5 sacks this season. They're one of the nation's best. And that's something you guys have obviously been trying to preach and try to improve on. So how do you try to handle a team that obviously has experience up front? Ryan told us returning all their linemen, I believe. How do you try to crack that line to try to create some pressure on a team that doesn't really give up that much pressure?
Yeah, I think they only gave up, I want to say only 1 sack before they played Houston last week. Houston got 4 on them because they got behind and they had to just start throwing all the time. If we can somehow make them one-dimensional and get them where they're throwing, and we can get some pass rush there because their run game is so good at times. But we've got to be able to mix it up. We've got to be able to get to the quarterback in different ways because they're excellent at their protection. They also do a good job of getting the ball out of the hands pretty quick. He doesn't hold it a long time. And then I think the other thing that, when you watch him on film, Mordecai is I wouldn't call him a speedster, but he's really athletic. He gets out of trouble. They get to him and people can't really get him down. He escapes, gets out of trouble, throws it away, runs for a first down. I've been impressed with his athletic ability, and his ability to run, in scramble situations has been good.
Thank you.
Frank.
Hey, Mike, if you look at the top 10 passing offenses right now, Mississippi State, Arkansas State, and SMU on that list, all 3 teams you guys play. What's it like having to prepare for this amount of top-tier passing offenses in one season?
Well, it just puts a lot of pressure on you. And they're correct earlier, pass rush is a big key. You got to find a way to harass. But if you blitz them with the way they throw it, then it's either feast or famine, at times. So you got to find your pick and choose your times to do that. And so, but we've played some really, really, those 2 offenses are excellent passing offenses. And to me, SMU is more well-rounded than both of them. Not knocking either one of them. They're both really good, but they're more of they're able to run it. They're able to throw it. They also have a tight end that they use quite often as a true tight end in the passing game. So that represents some other issues for you too. So because you have to be in there to fit him up on the run, but then you have to be able to cover him. So they are a high-powered offense at this point in time.
Now, I know coaching staffs, they switch things up from week to week, but being able to see SMU in a close game like they did against Houston, does that give you an advantage to see like what they like to do in certain game time situations that you may be able to kind of scheme against?
Well, you try to. You kind of see different plays they would go to, but they basically in that game and earlier they ran their base offense. It's just early in the game, Houston covered them well and kind of got up, and then SMU really kind of took the game over. It looked like, they came storming back and had Houston on their heels, and then we all saw the kickoff return that changed the tide. But I would say the last 3 quarters of the game, SMU was playing better offensively than Houston was. And Houston's extremely talented on defense, speed and athleticism all over the place. They're both really good football teams. But watching what they did in those certain passing situations always helped you. But it was the same plays they've run in other games. They just executed them better.
And J.J. Russell has been, real consistent for you guys this season. How big has he been kind of being the anchor for you guys' defense this year?
Oh, JJ's been huge. He the way he's played and done, he came back and he was in good shape before, but I would say that he looked at what his deficiencies might have been earlier in his career. And he's lost a little weight. He's quicker. He's faster. I think y'all noticed that on the field, how he closes on the ball so much better. His leadership qualities are phenomenal. I cannot say enough about how much JJ has led our team, has played well, has brought energy every day. He'll have to play big in this game, not only in the run, he's going to play in the pass. And, he did a really good job of that in the Mississippi State game, if y'all remember correctly. I mean, he was all over the place in the passing game and running game. He's got to do the same thing Saturday. And, quite frankly, I expect him to do that. And I'm very proud of what JJ's done.
And then watching him take some of those extra steps to turn himself into the player he's been this year, does that give you an example to the younger guys as if you do these things right, look at what it's done for JJ?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. He not only does he lead with mouth, he leads with example. And I think that's what you're talking about. He worked on his body. He worked on his trade, got better at it. He knew some of his deficiencies and worked on improving those. And it's been good to watch. And, the younger players do listen to him. They do watch what he does. They watch how he prepares. They watch how he handles his body away from here, what he does. And he's a true professional in every stretch of the imagination.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Back to Adam.
Mike, it feels like the last 2 games, the defense has really kind of, stepped up a little bit more. Obviously, Navy, you guys had such a strong showing, even against UCF. Even though despite the loss, there was more improvement in some areas. Do you feel like the defense is starting to kind of make some strides from where you guys were maybe against Temple and Tulsa?
Yeah, I think that we've made some strides. But still the game of football is so crazy. It's based on, today's college football, a lot of it's based on, different big plays. We've done a good job at different times. But when we, the big play situation, you might play 35 plays great, and all of a sudden you fit something wrong, you miss a tackle, and all of a sudden it's a touchdown, and it looks like the world's falling apart. They've kept playing hard. They kept working at it. This team puts pressure on you in every phase. So that's going to stretch us. Our kids are prepared well, and they're excited about playing in the game. But I do think we keep improving. And I do think they keep playing hard. One play here or there, it's a different story, but that's the way football is, especially in today's game. But their effort, their intensity, their focus, I've been really pleased with all of that.